Hi and welcome to tonight's Facebook Live about the Universal Gift Shop, which seems to create some confusion for some people. There's been questions about how it differs from the void of limitless possibilities. I have to explain why I'm struggling a little bit here. I'm looking at myself and somehow I've become a cat. I've got ears and I've got whiskers and I don't know how the heck that's happened. I must have touched the wrong button somewhere, but let's hope we can make it work. We've got quite a few people here. We've got Haresh, Juliet, Karen, Doris, Angela, who says meow, perfectly normal. Thank you very much. Tracy, Elaine. It's very strange. I'm going to have to do this more often. Hi, Yumiko. So, how to talk about a spiritual topic on the Universal Gift Shop while I'm looking at myself as a cat. Could be another Facebook Live. I have no idea how I created this image, but you know what? It ties in beautifully with the Universal Gift Shop, because the gift shop will give us what we need. It's part of our possibilities. Yes, my ears are twitching, Juliet. I think it's the strangest thing ever. Okay, I must have touched some sort of mask or something. It's exhausting. All right, so what's the Universal Gift Shop? Yeah, the ears do match my top, don't they? What's the Universal Gift Shop and why is it causing so much challenge? Hi, Pia. Hi, Cynthia. I think somebody upstairs has got a great sense of humour. Okay. The void of limitless possibilities is where we go to see what's possible for us. It's where our frequency determines what is made available for us to see is possible in our lives. The gift shop is a stage on from there. And I know some of you think, well, they're so similar, surely there's no difference. There is a difference, and it's quite significant. Anyone who resonates to the same frequency as you will go to the Universal Gift Shop. No, sorry. Here the ears twitching and getting in the way. Anyone with the same frequency as you will go to the void of limitless possibilities and see the same things that you do. Will see the same possibilities because you're resonating at the same frequency. However, whatever you choose from that gift shop to explore, from that void to explore, when you get to the gift shop, may or may not be there, depending upon your own personal circumstances and how you've worked with the energy. When you go into the gift shop, it's about what is yours. Not what is anybody's with your frequency, but what is specifically yours. And so, stepping into the gift shop, what you're saying is, I've come to claim something here. I'm going to say, this is what I want, and I'm taking it away. And as John described in his talk, the payment is your frequency, is the fact that you've claimed it. So it goes on your Akashic record and you bring it back with you. Whereas in the void of limitless possibilities, you're the observer. You're seeing what's possible. You can't claim anything from there. It's not a place where you can check out something. Well, you can check it out by looking at it, but you can't check it out as going through the cash out. So that's the biggest difference between the two. And I don't know if that clarifies things for people or not, or whether the fact that I'm sitting here as a kitten is so distracting that people can't cope with it. Who knows? In fact, if you would rather that I cancel this now and we start Facebook Live again without a mask, then that's also from the void of limitless possibilities. Perhaps you'd like to let me know. Do you want to continue, or would you rather stop and move back into a different frequency? Text me on the chat and let me know. No need to cancel. Okay. Right. So let's start with the questions that people have asked, because I've got 2 pages of questions here, and I'm glad that people are quite happy with staying with it. You know, we have to have a laugh sometime, don't we? And Spirit has a fantastic sense of humour. Spirit doesn't take everything so seriously that we can't have fun. I think that's what we do. Okay. Glynis asked the first question. Perception in our world is that we live with challenge, struggle and pain. Glynis says, why do people look at life that way? Well, why is the sky blue? That's my answer. People are people are people. And I guess to a large extent, people have become more focused on what's wrong because there's so much about it in the media. And they've forgotten how to dream, and they've forgotten how to inspire themselves and other people, because there's almost a perception that what's the point is probably all going to turn to custard anyway. So where the gift shop comes in is the gift shop says, here's the point, here's the possibility. So Glynis goes on to say, he asks us to look at our expectations in terms of where we live, business associate, friends, and our financial position. Is that what he means when he talks about bringing our expectations into alignment? No, it's not. It's our expectations of ourselves. But when we go into the gift shop, and he covered it in his talk, how many people imagined it as a shop with a shop front and a counter and a doorbell and shelves where you could go and pick things? Some people did, and yet that's an earthly visual. It's not a spiritual visual. Our expectations, what he's talking about there is the expectations we have of how we should get things from the gift shop, how it should operate, how we should be able. An expectation is the mental body. It's the limitation we put on anything that we're given and that we believe we have to work for. So look at your expectations around what you're entitled to from the gift shop, which is not at all what the gift shop's about, entitlement. It's about what you choose. And then the final question from Glenn is, why do we believe we need so much more than we actually are to achieve our purpose? Well, that's a question that's a lot bigger than this talk. And that's a question that perhaps you might like to go into Phoenix Rising and talk about that in the Phoenix Rising and see what other people's answer to that question may be, because it's a big one and it's a good one. Anita says, if you've taken a book from the library, as John said in the talk, how do you know that you haven't read it and it's collecting dust on your shelf and therefore better to be returned to the library? Well, here's where it's really clever. I don't know about you, but for a period of time, New Year's Eve, I used to do my New Year's intentions. What my intentions were for the following year. The difference between an intention and an intent is the difference between a book in the library on the shelf and a gift that we've received and we've utilised. Anything that you thought would be a good idea to do, that you wanted to try, you maybe even began to work with it, and then for whatever reason you stopped, and instead of working with it, you moved on to something else. That's an energy that you withdrew from the gift shop that you could perhaps return. Unless you look at it now and say, well, I probably wasn't ready for it then, but I'm willing to work with it now. Hi David, nice of you to join us, and there's nothing wrong with your computer. Somehow I've ended up looking like a cat, so don't think you've got to get a new computer. So I hope that answers your question, Anita, because that's basically the difference. Did we choose something and then for whatever reason it went no further? Because if that's the situation, it's a book that we can give back. Bronwyn asked, how's the universal gift shop different to the void? And I think I've covered that. If I haven't, anyone that's listening now, because Bronwyn's in the middle of the outback somewhere, if anyone still doesn't feel I've covered clearly enough the difference between the gift shop and the void, can you please type and let me know? We will touch on it a little bit more as we go on, but for the main difference, if you're still not clear, just let me know. That would be great. Amanda says, John talks about what we see in the gift shop is what resonates with our frequency. Can I talk a little bit more about frequency and how we can keep building it? Our frequency is determined by how we feel and who we're being at any given moment. But it's also an underlying energy that defines who we are based on who we've become. I'm going to clarify that because it can get a bit tricky. Our frequency shifts if we're happy or sad, yes. Beneath that, however, is a frequency that is who we are. If you look at it from the astrological perspective, you could say that our signature is our frequency. That's what we came in with in this lifetime. And that is the frequency that John is talking about when he talks about what then becomes possible for us in the void of limitless possibilities. It's that frequency. So, for example, if you have an Aries signature, anyone with an Aries signature will see the possibilities that you see in the void of limitless possibilities. However, when you go to the gift shop to claim, that has been refined by who you are based upon your experiences since you incarnated. You've refined it. You've worked with some of the things that you came in to work with. You've learned some of the lessons that you were asked to learn. You've taken some of the steps to help others or towards your soul path. And so in the gift shop now, what you see is very much as a consequence of who you're being in the moment. So I hope that clarifies frequency a little bit more, Amanda. How do you keep building it? We build our frequency by focusing on what uplifts us, by committing to and performing our purpose, by being willing to be, not just to do. I suppose that's the simplest way to put it. If we focus on what depresses us, or if we keep looking at what's wrong with us, then our frequency is definitely going to drop. We're going to have problems. Okay, Orla says, and notice nobody's told me that they haven't understood void and gift shop, so perhaps that explanation was sufficient. In a previous talk, John told us about the void of limitless possibilities and how once we're given a possibility, to then take that into our own place of possibilities and work with it. And Orla asks, is that place the universal gift shop? Is that the link? No, it's not. So just to clarify, what it is void of limitless possibilities, where we see everything. Gift shop, where we see what is specific for us based on who we are now. Then we go to our own place of limitless possibilities. So we've started here and we've come down to here and we've come down now to our own. And this is where we take action. this is where the book either gets put on the shelf or we read it and we do something with it. When we get it to our own personal place of limitless possibilities and we don't action it, that energy sits there until it expires, because our use of it has an expiry date. It doesn't, but our use of it has an expiry date. So I hope that clarifies, Orla. Okay, page 2. John gave us an exercise on expectations, and I realised that any expectation I have, for example, of friends, limits that friendship. Yes, it does. Because what you're saying is this is who you think that person should be and how they should act toward you as a friend. That's your limit on how they can interact with you. Karen's asked a question, and I'm just going to cut into here to answer this. I haven't got the full question, Karen. I think I can understand what the Seymour's supposed to say. Is visiting the void of limitless possibilities a prerequisite for going into the universal gift shop? It's not a prerequisite, because that's mental energy. However, what I would say is it's a good idea to start in the void, because the void has so much more. So it opens our mind to possibilities that we may not even think of or consider. Whereas going into the gift shop, you're stepping into what is possible for you. You've filtered it down. It's the difference between the telescope, which is the void, and in this case, the microscope is the gift shop. So it's not a prerequisite, it's just a good idea. Okay, so going back to Orla's question, expectations are not guidelines. Excuse me, expectations aren't guidelines. Expectations say, this is how I think, feel, believe, expect this situation to be. A guideline says, in this situation, this is what may or may not occur. An expectation's more a demand. A guideline shows you a term of engagement, possibilities of how to work with it. So 2 different frequencies. Orla continues to say, what we choose from the universal gift shop is dynamic. Can either move us forward, backwards, or keep us standing still. Yes, John did say that. And so Orla says, why would we feel drawn to something that would push us backwards? And it's interesting because push us backwards is not, I don't think is exactly how John phrased it. And Orla says, I guess I had an expectation that everything in the gift shop would move us forward. If we have started to move through something that we have to learn, if there's a problem, a challenge, an unresolved issue, suppose we meditate on it and we're given a piece of it, and because it makes us uncomfortable, we decide that that's it, that's the answer. We move forward. If it's not the answer, if it's only a piece of the answer, then the gift shop will take us back to that again and again, because we're not really moving forward fully until that piece has been integrated. So we can move forward with other things, but the final step forward won't occur until that piece that we ignored or told ourselves we completed or dealt with has actually been completed or dealt with. So I hope that clarifies that, Orla. Because otherwise we're just going to keep tripping ourselves up. Angela says, can I give clarity on how possibilities in the universal gift shop may be different from the void. Well, I think I've already covered that. However, where it's interesting is Angela goes on to say that she has no problem going into the void of limitless possibilities, but when she goes into the gift shop, she gets triggered. And it comes back to expectation, Angela. You have an expectation that is not being met by the gift shop or by what you think the gift shop should be or do. Apparently the gift shop should be more tangible, should be more practical. Well, it is. If you're going into the universal gift shop and you're seeing things that are generic, that are etheric, that aren't tangible, you don't have your eyes open. And I'll clarify this for everyone. The void of limitless possibilities, because it's there for everyone of your frequency, will talk in more general terms. However, Anita says that the kitty's been a perfect example around not having expectations. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. However, when we go into the gift shop is about qualities for us to acquire, or steps for us to take. Most people I know, when we first talked about the universal gift shop, when John first talked about it, said that they'd gone there and they'd told Spirit that they wanted to have $500,000 minimum a year so that they could fulfill their spiritual service. That's not the gift shop. That's going in and affirming what you want. But when you go into the gift shop, it's about going in to see what your frequency is making available to you. And for you to have $500,000 a year as an income, you probably don't want to dress like a cat. You probably want to be taken more seriously. You probably feel that you need to have some super duper quality that is going to make you stand out so you can have that $500,000 a year or $1 million a year. All of those are expectations. If you went into the universal gift shop and asked to be shown what it is that you are now ready to claim in you, what's the next piece of you you're ready to claim? And then you take that and you take the action to claim it, you may find that as a side effect, you get the $500,000 a year. It's not about claiming income. It's not about claiming cars and houses. The universal gift shop is claiming the pieces of ourselves that are ready to be claimed, that have always been there, that we've chosen not to see for a variety of reasons, and they're dependent on each of us, which is why our gift shop's different to someone else's. Because it's only in claiming the fullness of who we are that we'll achieve the abundance and the joy and everything else that our heart desires. If you're going into the gift shop and you're getting irritated because it's too ephemeral, it's too intangible, it's because a part of you doesn't want to see what you're really ready to claim at the moment. Once you're ready, a whole different kettle of fish. And if somebody can tell me afterwards how the heck I managed to put this kitten over my face doing this Facebook Live, I would be eternally thankful, because I really don't want to have to go through another Facebook Live with it. Okay, one of the final pieces is that we need to look at our habits. our habits condition our expectations, which in turn condition our ability to step into the gift shop open-hearted, wholehearted, and willing to claim. Then when we take that energy down into our own place of limitless possibilities, instead of it becoming something that we'll do when we've got time, we'll get round to it when we've done A, B, and C, it becomes something that we say, I'm going to begin with this now. Even if I only do 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day, once a week, I'm going to start to work with this now. Because the gift shop is always in the now. It's never in the future. So they're the questions that people have asked about it. If there's anything that I haven't covered, or if there's something that any of you would like to ask me, I'll be quite happy to answer. And I'll just sit and twiddle my thumbs or my whiskers or ears while I wait. So Sonia says, how do we know if we are actually at the frequency of the universal gift shop, not our imagination? It's not a place you can imagine, Sonia. So if you're in the gift shop, whatever you're seeing in the gift shop isn't your imagination, it's what's available for you. Elaine, I'm going to kill you. Purr. It's not something you can imagine. If you're in there and you are being shown what is possible for you, then that's what's possible for you. I'm going to twitch these ears now, not these. Okay. I hope it's been of help and not too distracting. If you've got any further questions, pop them in the post-in underneath Facebook Live. All the technical terms have completely gone out of my head because I'm so distracted by seeing these twitching ears. But yes, Karen, to clarify, anything fuzzy or etheric in the void or the gift shop isn't genuine. It's you not wanting to see. Okay? So thank you, and I'll talk to you next month. Good night for now.